screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. The Drive-In Theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Good evening, friends, loved ones, fellow Speakerboxians. You're tuned in to the Drive-In Speakerbox. It's Monday! What's going on? It's another week, and boy, what a freaky weeky it has been. It has been 7 days of Hollywood shenanigans. A lot of stuff to talk about this week. We've seen 3 movies. We're going to be talking about 3, not 1, not 2. 3 big movies we're going to be talking about this week. We've just got so much action-packed content to deliver to you. Just content. So you can buckle the hell up.
They were all kind of like action-focused movies, huh?
Were they? Was the Peanut Butter Falcon action-focused?
I guess you'll have to find out.
Oh,
We're sticking
cliffhanger.
around for the review.
Well, this week
Clickbait.
we're gonna be talking about the Peanut Butter Falcon, which is just got released in theaters last week. We're going to be talking about Angel Has Fallen, which was just in theaters last weekend, and we're also going to be talking about Ready or Not, which came out in theaters this last week. So all this fresh new jazz.
Yeah, it's one of those weeks where neither one of us is going back and catching up on something because all the movies in the theater were just Marvel or nothing.
I know. But before we talk about those movies, let's talk about Marvel or Nothing, because that has been going on this week. It's been
big time tug of war.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's Marvel or nothing. And this is actually kind of interesting, and I really want to talk about this because I think I'm going to change some minds tonight, which is one of my favorite things to do, is when people are just like, well, here's the way I think. And I go, actually, have you thought about, like, I don't know, weighing the facts and reading all of the data and kind of crunching it and stepping away from your personal involvement to how cool you think blank would be and think about the logistics of it? And they go, no, well, why would I ever do that?
You're
Why would I be
about
logical?
Big time Marvel fanboys being like, well, Disney will just buy Sony because screw Sony. Sony's evil.
No, people just basically... Let's put a 2019 concept on this puppy, and we're going to ruffle some tail feathers here, but let's not victim shame Sony for saying no to Disney. They said no, and they did not give Marvel consent to come in and just bend them over, which is what Marvel wants to do. And everyone's like, yeah, but Marvel's going to do it better anyway, so Sony's to blame. Like, stupid Sony. Why is Sony being so dumb and not letting Marvel just have their way with them? God, stupid Sony. You had it and you ruined it. You didn't do it right the first time, so Sony. Here's the deal. Sony owns Spider-Man. That is the deal. Sony... forward thinking that I don't always agree with Sony. Film rights, yeah. IP rights. But here's what happened. It wasn't Disney. It wasn't even Marvel. Marvel, not even 18 years ago, was filing for bankruptcy. Marvel, it was in the late 90s. So, that was like almost 20-something years ago.
It would have to be, it was early 90s. It was right after the big comic boom.
That's right. It has been that long.
Yeah, because the Fantastic Four movie, all their X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man.
But Marvel was in trouble. Marvel was in a lot of trouble, and they were sinking as a company. And they to sort of get some liquid assets, they said, let's sell some of these properties that we think people will want. And comic book movies weren't like a big thing then. And so Fox took over. They were like, we'll buy some X-Men. I mean, people want to make it. We'll buy these. Marvel, we'll give you some cash. And then Sony was like, well, anybody do anything with Spider-Man? Like, nobody's really messed with this since the 70s. And
Japan coming in for that Spider-Man again.
Boom.
Since they had super sick mech warrior, like crime fighter, super cop Spider-Man.
But Sony paid, and they paid for it. They paid hard-earned U.S. currency in exchange for goods and services, and in this case, intellectual property rights. And they bought it. And they made some Spider-Man movies. A couple that people still actually enjoy, you know. Some of the early Sam Raimi jams were kind of fun.
Bonesaw McGraw.
Right.
Other than that, I don't know what you're talking about.
And then here's the deal. It belongs to them. Just like your car belongs to you. And if your neighbor goes, you don't even know how to drive that thing, bro. Let me show you how to squall those tires. And you're like, well, this is my car. Get your own car. And they go, nah, dude, I can drive it better, so you better let me. It's like, well, I bought it, so it's mine. And that's Sony's stance on it. But you know what? Sony wanted to make some really good content. They wanted to be, they all the pressure from fans was like, can we let Spider-Man be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And Disney's like, oh yeah, fans, keep working it. Keep working it. That's what we want. We're going to make you the bad guy. And then Sony, they buckled and they said, okay, all right, okay, you guys can use Spider-Man even though he belongs to us, but we're going to lay some ground rules, some boundaries, if you will, to where no means no when you get to those boundaries, but here's our boundaries. And they said, we're going to give you merchandising rights. Cha-cha-ching! That is monstrous. Look at the LucasArts empire that was built off of merchandising rights. In the right hands, that's more powerful than anything. But then they were like, okay, well, we know you want some box office, so we're going to give you 5% of the opening weekend worldwide. Every opening that you do in a country, Disney, you get to keep 5%. Are you paying for these movies? No, Sony's still paying for these movies. Just Disney gets to oversee and produce and lend some of their talent and skills. And they're still getting merchandising rights and 5% of opening, right? Okay?
Disney does all the work. And then, is that what you're saying?
Well, that's how Disney's playing it, because they didn't direct it. They oversaw production. Okay, and they were like, oh, we want to do it this way. We want to tie it into our cinematic universe, but Sony, you're still going to pay for it. And so they did. And then, the money did well. The movie did well. And they were like, okay, well, here's the deal that we'll make with you. We'll give you guys, if the movie goes over $1 billion worldwide, we'll let you continue to oversee, and the deal will stick. And then it was like, cool, all right. And it did it. And they were like, all right, everybody's happy, right? And then Disney goes, we're not happy! With the deal that we previously agreed to, we see that the world wants more Spider-Man. And guess what? Everyone loves Disney and hates Sony. You know what? We still want you to pay for it. We still want you to do all these things. And we still want you to, blah, 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 blah. But we need half of all of everything now. Half of this, all of merchandising rights, half of all box office grossings, and full and total unrelinquished control of Spider-Man. But you guys still own it. And Sony's like, what? No. That's not fair, because this doesn't belong to you. No deal. No deal or no deal. They closed the case. And now everybody's mad at Sony for like that's insane. You should be mad at Disney for being buttholes, because they're huge plus buttholes. And did you hear about the other butthole move that Disney's moving? They're
all the time. They're constantly.
Epcot Center. Did you hear about Epcot Center?
No.
They're ruining Epcot Center. Epcot Center was the last bastion.
Like they're updating the sphere to where it's modern.
Yeah. No, they're gonna keep the sphere, but all those places where as a kid that I learned what Morocco was like, and then I went to Spain, and as a child I'm like, I'm not gonna get to travel the world for probably most of my adult life, so I'll go to Disneyland and look.
You mean where they invite people and they
from
offer
other
them
cultures,
scholarships from those countries, and they force them into indentured servitude, and they have these indentured servitude people from other countries and races and nations, and they're like, you're going to live in Epcot so that everyone can experience the real thing.
It's like a culture zoo.
Is that the one you're talking about?
But guess what?
Because it's pretty sick, except for that part that I just talked about right there.
But guess what? That's not cool anymore. And so they're like, you know what we need to do? Let's make a Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster. Let's do in the UK area. Let's scrap that and make Mary Poppins ride. Wouldn't that be cool, guys? You know what? Let's scrap any of our island countries representation and do Moana the ride. Moana, you guys like Moana? And so it's just going to be another extension of their bullshit properties.
Wait, so they're getting rid of all the little countries that you can experience and have fun at. You can't eat at the little French Paneria. And
No,
you can't.
you won't be able to eat the French Paneria, but you'll go to Ratatouille, the experience meal. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What are they going to do to Japan? Because Japan has that super cool.
They're going to
steakhouse.
trash it and turn it into Mulan, which is not even the
that's-
same country.
Okay, I was about to say they have China there too.
Oh, well, that's right, they do. Well, then that one's going to be Mulan, and then the other one's just going to be backlot for storage. They're getting rid of all of it. It's stupid.
What about the Mexican pyramid that you get to go inside and it's just like a super cool
Emperor's New Groove?
Oh, well, that sounds awesome though. Emperor's New Groove is sick.
Well,
But that's a different culture too, so-
I don't like it. I don't think it's a good. It's one of those things that I get. I understand why they're doing it because cash money, but like
Is it not making enough cash money?
apparently not. And
I got my money when I went because I walked out of that Mexico
loved
pyramid
Epcot.
with a sombrero that was like 10 foot in diameter.
Well, I mean, I think
It's sick.
I think
still have it.
speaks loudly to what we value as how we value entertainment versus how we value culture and learning, which I think is a big problem. And it's like I get it. Guardians of the Galaxy is way more fun right now, right this second, but in like 3 years, probably not. Like it's actually kind of lame now. But they're just trying to sell their properties, and kids are just like, yeah, cool, lasers, I want that. And
Why not, instead of doing that, why not just program in like a Guardians of the Galaxy, like one day a week or like 1 week a year experience into like the space liftoff one that gives everyone motion sickness. Be like, oh, Marvel days. You know how they do like Star Wars days and like.
well, now they have their own
Gay
Star
Pride
Wars
Day and all that stuff.
theme park, so Star Wars Days every day now.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? If they want to do that instead of being like, oh, forget this forever, why not just be like, hey, for this week you can experience what it's like to be on the Guardian ship instead of the normal just space mission ship or whatever.
This makes me love Silver Dollar City that much more. Every time I go to Silver Dollar City, I have a new appreciation for just their tradition. It's like, man, let's just do it.
Like how the special bread every day is always the same bread. And
it's
just
always good and made by that old lady that's been there since I was a kid.
Yeah, the Indian bread and cookies place that's hidden in that little cove next to like the dead guy in a coffin display next to the crazy fun house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Grandpa's mansion.
Yeah.
Yo. But it's one of those things that there is something to be said about things that are timeless, and it's a lot harder to create things that are timeless than are things of the now. And that leads me to another conversation that was going on with one of our former co-hosts, the storyboarder, on his Facebook, and he was talking about like these Disney Plus, I think it's Disney Plus, is talking about not doing bingeable content delivery. And to take a step back from bashing on Disney, I want to praise Disney for a second because, that's making a lot of people angry because people want these, 10, 15 hour, worth of content series. They want it all at once so they can sit like a fat gelatinous blob on their couch pounding pizzas and watching 15 consecutive hours of some stupid show they're going to
I feel very personally attacked right now.
But
that's how I watch The Boys.
Well, yeah, and it's how I watch The Boys also. I split it up over 2 days. But I'm actually
I did it in one.
pissed off that I did it because if it's there, yes, it's going to give me that knee jerk like, oh, I'm just going to keep going more because it's right there. But there is something to be said about slow release serialized content. I think that Game of Thrones and a lot of the most famous shows
Game of
ever,
Thrones, where they made us wait 2 years between seasons.
I'm not talking
and then
about
they delivered
seasons.
season 8, bro.
I'm not talking about seasons.
Or where they're like, Game of Thrones next time in 2 months because no reason.
I'm talking about like
Remember?
a season gets made.
Do you remember?
I do remember.
Those seasons
And-
were made and they delayed episodes for 2
Well,
months.
and the reason is because
they
our
hated
hunger for high produced quality content is getting higher than it ever has been, and making those deliverables hasn't stopped being impossibly hard. Like, production hasn't gotten easier. It's still making movies, but people want more and more of it, and they want it faster. And you can't have both unless you just want
you
pure
can't, because
CGI
garbage.
garbage.
It was already through post. There was nothing to like delay it for. No
You
reason.
don't know this.
Bruh.
But so my point is, going back to Game of Thrones, you might be an exception to the rule because you don't like other human beings.
Well.
But what are you going to argue that point?
No, I'm not going to argue that.
There we go. But there is something to be said about the communal enjoyment and the waiting to where it affects the cultural zeitgeist enough to where you go to work and you go, man, how about that episode, guys? Remember when we used to do that all the time?
People do that with Netflix. Like,
No.
Yo, did you check out?
No, they go, did you watch that whole season? I'm like, well, no, I have a real life and I can only watch one episode. They go, well, dumb, here's what happens at the end. And you're like,
You need to
good.
decide who you're talking to.
But it's like it's kind of like World of Warcraft. Like if you don't have 20 hours a day to dedicate it to it, you're going to get lost and it's not going to be any fun. And so television shouldn't be the same way. You shouldn't have to be forced to watch 8 hours of content like in one day. And that's why The Tick got canceled. Is because not enough people watch the entire series in the first week of release. And they go, nobody likes it. Canceled. Cancel it.
I did.
Yeah.
But
no one else did.
You did.
And, there is something to be said about spacing that out to let it soak in, to let people, and I think that people appreciate it more when they have to wait a second.
No way,
it's like
man.
chewing your fucking food.
I like it like a movie, man. I like it like a movie where you get that whole, because they make such...
Yeah, the episodes are long enough to be movies now.
Yeah, but I like the story like it's a movie because they stretch that arc over a season. I want to see from that like first episode to that last episode, and then just wait for the next season, man.
Well, see, there it is. You're treating seasons like episodes, and we need to treat episodes like episodes and seasons like seasons.
Okay, well, what if it was done like other countries where they don't have the stupid season set up and they release weekly on the week and they don't give people 5, 6, 7 months off at a time just because there's some Hollywood prick?
Yeah, they still do that, and it's called soap operas, and they suck because
their viewership has been there. Their viewership's been there.
Well, you want everything to go to the quality of a soap opera?
Have you ever watched stuff from Japan, bro?
Yes, but it's
all right,
different.
There you go. Oh, okay.
It's different.
Sorry, dude.
But I'm just saying, I
No
agree.
days off.
I think it's good.
Those shows are still good. They come out every single week. But now they've started warming up this stupid season premise. Hate it. Don't like it. I need all of it now. I want it.
No, see, we disagree. Line in the sand.
What if you die between seasons and you die?
Well, then
like
you're
never know
dead.
it?
Then who cares?
You. Have you ever seen The Frighteners, dude? Do you want to be some like funky ghost having to hang out with the nasty cowboy and have like the creepy wall grabber Frightener man coming after you, knowing that you never got to finish that season?
Well, if you're a freaking ghost, then you can finish the season.
What if it's Beetlejuice rules and you can't leave the house, dude?
Well, then get a TV.
You're a ghost.
Yeah, well, haunt a house with a TV.
You don't get to choose. There's big sandworms that'll bite you in the booty hole. Have you never seen Beetlejuice?
Of course I've seen Beetlejuice. Yeah, I have the handbook for the recently deceased right here.
Well, I'm just saying, you got to figure out your ghost rules.
And it says here on page 68 that if said spectral entity is haunting establishment without cable television, then file a notice to Spook Central office in your.
I feel like I'm Alec Baldwin.
They'll issue you one.
I feel like I'm Alec Baldwin, and you're like the old talent lady, like agent lady that smokes and the stuff comes out of her neck.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So take a number.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you need to do. But anyway. We've got more stuff to talk about. Oh, geez, that took so much time. I'll have to scrub over some stuff, some trailers. Did you see the new Adam Driver, the Report trailer on Amazon? Looks pretty good.
I hadn't. You know what I did see is that Rainbow will be out on September 27th, and I cannot wait.
What?
Rambo, dude.
Oh, I thought you said Rainbow.
No, dude.
I'm like, huh? No, Rambo's gonna be good. Another trailer that dropped that looks awful and it's going to go straight to Disney Plus is The Lady and the Tramp CGI live action hybrid. Looks like garbage for all the reasons that Lion King wasn't very good.
Does that mean they're making the Aristocats next, and then they're going to make?
I hope not.
They're going to do
a crossover,
the Robin Hood, but it's going instead of being a cartoon animals, it's going to be CGI animals, and they're going to like walk on all four legs like in Lion King, but they're just going to still have the outfits on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be, right?
But they're going to be realistic animals just with the hats and outfits.
Like wearing people clothes and doing people things. CGI animals doing people things. Ugh! I hate that crap. Anyway, also in Disney Plus news, Obi-Wan is getting his own spin-off TV series. So yeah, I need to not have any Disney news. What is happening in the world of not Disney Marvel? God dang it. Ugh. It's so hard these days. I'm having to skim. Let me skim over these news articles. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. That's an ad. Blah, blah, blah. Boring podcast. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. We're not going to talk about any more news because we've got more show to talk about. Let's talk about what's coming out in theaters this week. Let's talk about that. You want to do that? Let's do that. There are almost no movies coming out in theaters this week, but there is one really interesting film from Blumhouse, which I do really, really like Blumhouse Pictures, and from the producers of Get Out, starring David Oyelowo, who I also really enjoy, and Storm Reed. Have you seen the trailer to Don't Let Go? Have you? So Don't Let Go looks really cool. It's kind of a paranormal-y, future pasty sort of story about this man's family dies in what appears to be a murder, and then he gets a phone call from his niece, who was one of the people that died, and he answers it, and it's her, and he can't quite tell at the beginning if she's a ghost or if he's going insane, but what it turns out is he's getting a phone call from the past. And so he's in the future, and the murder hasn't happened yet.
So it's the lake cabin?
Kind of. And so he's having to try and sort of guide his niece through trying to figure out this murder before it happens.
Is his niece Sandra Bullock living in a lake house?
No, it's not Lake House, but it's kind of like a lake house.
Just instead of letters in the mailbox, it's a cell phone?
Yes, because it's more modern. But yes.
It was made like 10 years ago.
Yeah, but who writes letters?
Oh, the people that lived in the lake house, because one of them was from the past when letters was the thing.
Fantasy.
You know what else comes out this weekend?
Tell us about it.
Saho. Dude, it's Prabhas making his Hindi film debut. Looks sick. And we're getting it here, and I'm so excited about it.
You all about that Prabhas train.
Dude, have you ever seen Bahubali?
I know Prabhas. And the thing I like about Prabhas is he gives hope to all of us that aren't like super in shape to still be action heroes and heartthrobs. That's the one cool thing about Bollywood movies is
he was pretty ripped.
I mean, he's pretty ripped, but not all of the time. He looks more normal than, say, I know I'm never going to look like Jason Momoa in Aquaman. Like, even Jason Momoa can't look like Jason Momoa in Aquaman all that much. Did you hear about the body shaming thing that went on when he, like, stopped, like, starving himself and working out 1,000 hours a day to look like Aquaman, and then he just looked like Jason Momoa, super ripped, like, big. They're like, oh, nice dad bod, Jason Momoa, letting yourself go, and he's like the most in shape human on the planet.
So, fun fact about times when you see people shirtless on film, they prepped for that. They generally cut their water intake. They go on a diet. And I think they make them eat Skittles and coffee because it makes them take on that shape. Just like fighters don't drink water before the
Skittles
weigh-ins.
and coffee, and I have not had that shape yet.
Anyhow, they prep for that, and there's methods of making them look good for the time that they film, and then they go right back to being normal.
A normal person. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot coming out in wide release this week, so you're still going to get another chance to get some of these other movies that are out, soaking up more of that money.
Or you can watch Saho like me, and we can all have a big conversation about how sick it is.
Next week, apparently, we're going to have a big conversation about Prabhas.
Bruh, I mean, you got to watch these movies with me, man. They're so good.
It's true. But yeah, that's what's coming out in theaters this week. And let's talk about movies that are coming. Wait, already came. They came. They saw. You saw. We discussed. So let us talk about. Let's talk about Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh,
that's kind of
wait, though.
Oh, wait, though.
Can we do Angel Has Fallen first, if we're doing that?
I mean, they're both movies you saw, so you choose, my friend.
All right, I want to talk about Angel Has Fallen first. So, this is the third installment in the Has Fallen series. You got Olympus Has Fallen, which was sick, super rad, directed by Antoine Fuqua. It was a super action movie. There were guns on top of the White House. People had just got chopped in half by miniguns, and it was a super cool movie.
Okay.
You've seen it.
Okay.
I've seen it. It's amazing. London Has Fallen happened after that. Not so good. Not.
I will agree with
best.
that. I will agree with that.
Yeah, of course you'd agree with that, no matter which one I put that statement
Well,
towards. But Angel Has Fallen.
The third one, Quality Has Fallen.
No, course corrected. It's back to being awesome, super rad. Explosions, super cool, like people getting murked all over the place, action everywhere.
And Morgan Freeman swimming in the pond.
Well, Morgan Freeman was in the other movies too.
He's the president.
In this one, yeah, but he was like one of the cabinet members in the last ones. Aaron Eckhart.
Did he become president, or is he playing a different role?
No, he's the president.
Okay.
Cabinet members can be elected to president.
I don't know how the cinematic universe unfolds.
Sounds like you don't know how America works.
Who does?
Oh, well. Anyhow, man, it was super good. There's nothing really new that it's bringing to anything. It's not going to blow your mind, but it is fun. Good popcorn movie. There were a lot of people in the theater laughing at a lot of things. Nick Nolte's in it.
Because this movie exists.
No,
I'd be
dude,
laughing too.
because Nick Nolte's there, and he kind of has like the one-liners, and he's a crazy old Vietnam vet that just blows people up.
Is he like, he's his dad, right? Gerard Butler's dad?
Mm-hmm. But you get like a classic story of betrayal, good, evil, and they kind of have like a cowboy standoff at the end, which is a good way to wrap up the movie. And they even have one guy has white hair and one guy has dark hair. You have the kind of white and black hat thing going on with their standoff. It was super good, man. I actually had a really good time with it, a lot more than I expected to.
Maybe you're just really starving for another action movie that, the bar is so low that it's just like you're in this desert.
No,
and you're just like, if I could get a drop of water, even if it's like maybe got some pee-pee in it, I would still drink it.
Have you ever met me, bro? No.
I mean, I haven't met you starving in the desert.
This ain't Waterworld, Playboy.
I mean, but I'm thinking...
Ain't no one sipping on pee-pee in the real world.
I'm thinking, well, I mean... You kind of are. Angel Has Fallen sounds like you're sipping on pee-pee and be like, what's that? What's that zest?
Why
that
do you
Nick
hate
Nolte tang?
No, dude.
I hate Gerard Butler. That's
why.
Because he's not fun to watch.
What about Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah, what about it? This is the worst one.
People really liked P.S. I Love You. Got nothing to say to that one. Gotcha.
My face says it all if you're watching the live feed on Facebook or YouTube Live. Yeah.
He's in some good movies, man.
As Vince said on YouTube, he says, you're in the desert between Hobbs and Shaw in the next Fast and Furious.
That's
and you're
vast.
You are just thirsty
desert
for any sort of action content.
That's some
like Gerard Butler.
Sahara Giganto dunes. Like, I got to be one of those people who like walk around like with just their stuff visible for days on end, and they're like, "Oh, I know that dune." You're like, "How?" And it changed with the wind since yesterday, and you're just like, "Just know."
Scoop up this little angel has fallen in the desert, and you're like, "Oh, yeah,
no,
that's what I need.
Yeah,
that'll get me to the next one."
No, man, it's actually fun, man. I don't know why you're hating on it so much. It's a fun movie. Do you hate fun?
Sometimes, I guess I do.
Yeah, I guess you do.
I guess I do.
Everyone had a good time. Not one person in the theater acted like they were having a bad time. Everyone was cheering. There was clapping. People like laughed and had a good time. You're sitting over here being a hater.
Well, it's kind of my job description.
No, dog. You can still like it.
Yeah.
Grip of Arabia.
Well, Angel Has Fallen. Gerard Butler. You can see him shooting guns.
Did you ever see Enemy of the State? Because that one, or not Enemy of the State.
That was Enemy of the State was with Will Smith, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
Law-Abiding Citizen. That's the one I meant to say.
Law-Abiding Citizen. Yeah, that's Gerard Butler.
Yeah, and it's good. Did you ever see Geostorm?
Geostorm was fun.
Okay, all right. Okay, guy.
I'll give you Geostorm.
Angel Has Fallen's better than Geostorm.
Yay! Hey, strong words, my man.
Remember back when you used to enjoy fun movies when we watched Geostorm? You remember those days?
Geostorm continues to be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, as some of our viewers have said on YouTube, I too was stunned when they made a new movie in the series.
Well,
but
that's what I'm saying.
But everything is a series now.
Yeah, but they course corrected. They got it back on track. And this one kind of wraps up the story of Mike Manning. Hurricane Heist, that's another fun one. Does not star Gerard Butler, but still a fun movie.
Well, you can check it out in theaters right now if you want to. And if you don't want to, that's fine. It's your choice.
But you're wrong for it.
Well, tell us about Peanut Butter Falcon.
Okay. So Peanut Butter Falcon is...
so is this Shia LaBeouf, right?
Mm-hmm. It has Shia LaBeouf. It has Dakota Johnson. It has a up-and-comer named Zachary. Can't remember his last name. What is his last name?
Gottsagen.
Yeah. All right. So them, but it also has Michael Hayden Church. It has Mick.
Thomas Hayden Church?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. It has Thomas Hayden Church, Mick Foley,
Bruce Dern.
I
do love Bruce Dern.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Wait, he hasn't committed suicide yet?
Dude, what?
Dude, have you not read the stories of Jake the Snake Roberts?
And have you not seen the documentary Saving Jake the Snake?
Well, yeah, so someone saved him.
DDP.
Okay, I didn't know this.
Bang!
Okay, I didn't know this. I thought that Jake the Snake was still on a street corner.
Yo, shout out to DDP for rescuing Jake the Snake and Scott Hall. Self high five.
Maybe it was Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Did he kill himself?
No.
Maybe he just has a salon in some small town. I don't know. Anyway, okay, continue.
Yeah, big cast. It also has John Barenthal has a small role in it, and there's another
Yellow Wolf is apparently in it. He's a rapper.
John Hawkes is in it too. He played the brother in Eastbound and Down. Anyhow, you have a really good cast.
Okay. And so I haven't seen the movie obviously, but I've seen the trailer. So it's like a Mark Twainian river ride, right?
Yeah. So it starts out and Zach is a guy with Down syndrome. He's early 20s. He's 21, 22 years old. And has to live in this old folks home. They live in North Carolina, right on the coast, and he's forced to live there by the state because he doesn't have any family to take care of him. So the state has to take care of him, and that's where they chose to put him. And Dakota Johnson is this social worker type person who volunteers and works at the old folks home, and grows real close to this kid. Mm-hmm. But his dream is to be a professional wrestler, and he watches this tape every night. And he lives in a room with Bruce Dern, and they watch this wrestling tape of
I love Bruce Dern.
Oh, he was really good. Well, he killed John Wayne. So screw him for that.
Nah, dude. Good for you.
Have you ever seen The Cowboys?
Yeah, and I love Bruce Dern.
Wow, awful. Anyhow.
Ever seen The Burbs?
Yeah.
I love Bruce Dern.
So his dreams be a wrestler, and they watch this tape every night. And so eventually he escapes the home, and that's he attempts to escape all the time. And he finally gets out, and he just runs around naked in North Carolina trying to
body slam folks.
What?
Is he body slamming people?
No.
Who's naked?
The Zach, the main character,
gotcha.
the guy with Down syndrome. And eventually he happens across Shia LaBeouf, who's the riverboat guy, kind of a thing. And they form an unlikely friendship, and they go on this journey together. Shia LaBeouf is this broken guy. He's this character who has this past, but he is able to kind of return to himself and find things in the world that he enjoys again through his interactions with Zach, and the whole time Dakota Johnson's trying to find them because it's her job to take care of the guy with Down syndrome, because she like everyone else feels like he can't take care of himself. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Shia LaBeouf sees in it that he can do anything he wants. and there's nothing stopping him except for what other people are telling him he can. So it's a really good story about being who you want to be.
Is the Peanut Butter Falcon the name of the boat?
That's
Or his wrestler name?
His wrestling name.
There we go.
Yeah.
I knew it had to be one of the two.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun how he gets the name because it's him and Shia LaBeouf getting drunk on the beach in the middle of the night, and he's like, "What's your wrestling name? Let's do," and they make a whole
hammer it out.
costume. Yeah, and man, it's like a fun, heartwarming journey movie that you get, and it's about inclusion and being that anyone can do whatever they want as long as they kind of believe in themselves and set their mind to it and don't give up on their goals and don't let other people stand in their way. And that's kind of the whole thing, is that the only people that get in your way, you just have to kind of plow through it. And there's a whole story about it of him wanting to join this wrestling school and learn these wrestling moves. And he's like, "I'm not strong enough." And Shia LaBeouf's like, "No, you are. You can do anything." And it all kind of really comes together. And the whole time they're being hunted down by these guys who Shia LaBeouf kind of wronged.
Yeah.
So
Criminal on the run, like Mud.
Yeah. So it has all these elements in it, but it all comes together, and it's really funny. We went into it. My mom watched it. My mom and I watched it. We actually have someone with Downs in our family. And so we thought it would be really sad. And she took all these napkins into the theater. She's like, in case I'm going to cry.
She's going to cry.
Yeah. But ended up, you kind of laugh through the whole thing, and there's some parts where, like the whole theater was like, "Oh, like, no, you can't, like that's not okay." Or like people got angry. Like there were emotional responses invoked in everyone in the movie theater. And there was a big round of applause at the end of this one. So, it made people feel, and it makes you think.
They applauded?
Yeah, man. It's
cool.
a really good movie.
You don't see that in movies very often.
So,
especially these days.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed everything about Peanut Butter Falcon.
Cool.
And it was a good movie. It wraps up. There's no real missteps in the story or anything like that, and everything feels authentic. Like it feels like those actors are those characters. And that's one thing about Shia LaBeouf. People give him a hard time, but every time I see him in a movie, he's not like Shia LaBeouf or Louis Stevens or whatever.
He's a crazy dude, but he's a pretty good actor.
Yeah, like in Fury and in this movie, there's one or two others, but like you don't think of him as him, but he kind of takes on that full role. So I thought it was really good.
Cool. Well, all right, Peanut Butter Falcon playing in theaters all across.
I guess Mom did cry a little.
Yeah, the Grip's mom tuning in and saying that she did, in fact, cry a little bit.
I want to learn more about Johnny's name being the Velvet Santa and his finishing
wrestling
movie
name?
Lazy Grandma.
I don't think I need to know what the Lazy Grandma is. That sounds like a move I don't want to see finished. Grody. But anyway,
I feel like that's from Jackie Chan, like Drunken Master, where he
Lazy Grandma.
Yeah, like elbow drops somebody
out of a recliner. But let's see, Peanut Butter Falcon. How many theaters was that playing in? It's less than 1,000 theaters nationwide, so it's an expanded release. So it may not be playing near you, but we do have it here in Northwest Arkansas.
Watch it while you can too, because I mean, like a small kind of independent movie that moves up to the theaters usually don't stick around for that long.
Week, maybe two.
And you know what was fun in this? Sticking around for the credits and seeing the people they thank and the supporters of it. You had supporters like Special Olympics and things like that, but it also thanked whiskey. It's like special thanks to whiskey. And I wonder if that's a person or a business, or if they're just like, hey,
shout outs.
Thanks for the whiskey. And Rob Dyrdek was like a producer on it, I guess.
Interesting.
There's all sorts of interesting things about getting into that movie. So.
Well, cool. Let's see. Let us, I guess we'll move on to the next movie because we have 3 to review, and this is Ready or Not. It's the new sort of horror comedy thriller that just got released from directors Matt Bettelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett. Neither of which have been known for a whole lot of stuff. I think their biggest claim to fame was VHS, which is kind of a horror movie. Not a bad one, actually. But this movie is, rated R, obviously. and it's about this bride's wedding night kind of going on a very dark left turn when she meets these eccentric and very wealthy in-laws. And it's really funny that in a time where, you remember, I think it was last week or the week before, we were talking about the movie that Universal had to pull. What was the
one with the chick from Glow,
where they're hunting
the most dangerous game
remake? It's just another
Hunger Games.
Yeah. This movie's again another take on the most dangerous game, but as long as they're not using modern automatic or semi-automatic rifles that you can purchase at your favorite sporting goods store, then it's okay. It's just murdering other people's fine. Just don't use guns. We don't want to see that.
Well, I think the thing about that movie was that it had a political tinge to it.
Well, this is the rich murdering the not rich, and that was what got the other movie in trouble.
She marries into the Milton Bradley family, right?
Yeah.
Or Parker Brothers.
They have a weird name. It was like El Damas or something. The Le Damas. The
Mr.
dumbasses.
Dumbass.
Yeah. Which is...
It's pronounced Damas. Yeah.
It's but they have made a deal with this mysterious person. The great grandfather made a deal with a Mr. LaBelle, and if anyone's ever read anything, Baal, Baal, is a not so savory satanic name, but this was Bail, and he basically blessed this family with the ability to continue to make all these really amazing #1 selling games. But anytime someone new is added to the family through marriage, they have to play a game on the wedding night, and they have Mr. LaBelle's box. They put a blank card in the box, and then the person that's being married into the family has to push the button, and the card comes out, and on the card is a game that they have to play. And if the game is hide and seek, then they have to play hide and seek and sacrifice this person in blood tribute to keep this curse, keep the pact.
What if the game was like Connect 4?
Oh, that happens most of the time. And so that's the thing.
They're like, okay, and they sit at the table.
And they play it. Yeah, absolutely. And so that's what kind of makes this a little funny is the current family that is doing this tradition has only once in 30 years ever had to do hide and seek. And so you fast forward 30 years and the card comes up again, and they're like, well, we got to do it. It's tradition. But they're not like very well practiced at it. And so that's where it becomes this sort of black comedy of errors.
Well, that makes it make more sense than them always having to try and kill whoever joins the family.
Right, because then no one would ever be married.
Yeah.
And so it's only happened once before in these people's lifetimes. And then some of the family members don't question. They're questioning, like, this doesn't make any sense. This is bullshit. Especially the people that married into the family. Like, once stuff starts to get really real,
they're like, "Oh, I remember when I did this. Didn't we just play Scrabble?" And they're like, "Yeah, it was fun. Remember we all had a good time."
Like, it was a little weird how serious we took it, but we did it, and it was a good time. Yeah. And and so once like people start dying, like the maids and things like this are dying, it's like it's becoming very, very real. And the person that plays the brides, Samara Weaving, she was incredibly hilariously realistic at like being someone who's presented with this situation and basically dealing with it at a level 11. Like, just the reactions she has to the stuff that's happening around her seems very believable, very realistic, because in a lot of these sort of femme fatale movies where, like You're Next, or, some of these other home invasion movies where it's like, well, what you didn't know is our heroine just happened to be raised on a military camp by crazy gun-toting parents, so she's secretly a badass, and then she pulls her shoestring out and turns it into a ninja sword somehow, and then goes around.
I can't wait for Rambo to be in theaters.
But that's how a lot of these movies go, and this is not one of them. This bride has no idea. She just wants to get the hell out of there. She's scared to death, and it's only by the very end that she becomes hardened from this whole scenario, and it has a lot more realistic feeling. And this movie, dark comedies don't always land. But, I left this theater a little like, do I like this movie? Do I not like this movie? I wasn't immediately like gratified and going, that was awesome. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, hell yeah, that movie was really cool. And just the visual style was very dark, very gothic, kind of borrowed a page out of the Clue handbook. And, just set this sort of Victorian style, like weirdo family, even though it's in 2019, and just trying to murder this lady for a satanic ritual, and they don't even know if it's real or not. And so it kind of calls into something that we were talking about earlier, like tradition. It's like, when do you actually start questioning tradition, and what happens when you do? There was a really fun question that was asked in this, and it was like, we live in a modern time and science, and we're going to call bullshit. This is bullshit. Why? But how are we all just going to drop dead if we don't sacrifice this lady? That doesn't make any sense. But there's some pretty funny stuff that ends up happening in the movie that I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it's very gratifying.
But are they not making like big hit games all the time?
I mean, that's how they're wealthy.
Okay, well then I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. But they're just like, well, maybe we're just good at it. And so
is it actually them that comes up with it, or is it them to just approves the ideas?
It's their company.
Brought to
it doesn't really go into it. The movie takes place in one evening, so you don't get a whole lot of this backstory. But Adam Brody, I would say, was one of my favorite characters in the whole movie. He's kind of like the drunk brother that's sick of it, and he was the one when he was really, really young that had to kind of witness the realism of the first time their family really had to do it.
Isn't that the character he plays in most movies that he's in?
Basically, and he does a good job at it. And then Henry Sersney, he plays the father, and he plays the same like uptight, impossible to please, like tight ass that he's so good at playing. And then you have Andy McDowell, who comes in, and she's always fun to watch, and she's like this kind of venomous, like matriarch of this family, and just watching them casually handle all of this carnage is pretty fun and pretty dark and very tongue-in-cheek, and you don't get to see a whole lot of fun dark comedies really come out. It's kind of a little Death Becomes Her, a little bit Evil Dead, a little bit where the blood and guts makes you laugh instead of go ooh.
But is it a little more horror than like Death Becomes Her though?
Not at all. Every bit of it is pretty much comedy.
Really? Because the trailer made it look like it had some creepy, like jump scare elements and stuff.
Not
to
a single one.
It's kind of like Bordello of Blood or Death Becomes Her.
It's
like kind
so
of thing.
Stupid. One of the
I'll
scenes
watch it on
that,
TV.
I think you'll actually enjoy this movie. There's one scene that no spoilers. All the maids die. They all die in the trailer.
I was about to say you get to see that like pretty much immediately.
But there's one that's just really hilarious where one of the maids, she's hired just because she's pretty, and she doesn't know what's going on, and once she starts seeing people die, she's like freaking out, so she starts hiding. She's hiding in this dumbwaiter, and the bride like goes to like use the dumbwaiter to go to another floor, and the maid's in it. She's like, you gotta get out of here. Look, I'm not trying to get you. Let's go. Help me help you. And she's like, no, this is crazy. I'm gonna stay right here. I'm gonna stay right here. And she tries to close the dumbwaiter, and she's kind of caught halfway in the dumbwaiter, and it crushes her spine, and she's trying to get out, and it's so dumb and so boneheaded that you can't help but laugh. And then the bride is like, well, shit, now I can't use the dumbwaiter, and she has to go somewhere else, and it's just got this corpse hanging out of it. And it's stuff like that you shouldn't laugh at, but then you end up laughing really hard at it. So and yeah, there you go. I think everybody needs to see this movie for a dark laugh. It's not the most amazing movie in the world, but it certainly doesn't disappoint, and it's probably better than Angel Has Fallen.
No way, man. That was a fun movie.
This was a fun movie. This is an old lady with a battle axe, like someone that you'd actually call a battle axe, holding a battle axe. And it's like Exhibit came in there and decided to pass out weapons. It was great.
Yo, dog.
Heard your family calls you a battle axe, so I'm gonna give you a battle axe so you can, exactly. It's called Ready or Not, and it is in theaters right now, so you can check that out. The visual style is very, very cool. And there you go. And that's
I think we watched 3 very different movies,
Oh, we
and they all
did.
turned out pretty good.
good.
So that gives
And it's funny because these movies aren't like raking in box office mad bank, and they're not gonna, because everybody like rushes out to the theaters when they think that the movie's gonna be amazing, like some next installment of superhero shooting lasers out of its hand and political correct like hammer banging. But these movies are good. And I mean, you want to talk about strong female characters, boom, you've got Ready or Not. You want to talk about like, casting actual people with Downs in a story about that, and telling a good feel-good story, boom, you've got the Peanut Butter Falcon.
representation and inclusion,
and these are the movies that aren't making money. And everybody's sitting there waving their fucking flags around, being like, oh, well, this is what needs to happen. Well, it would if you'd go out to the movies and give these movies money. Like, go pay for the things that you say that you want to happen in the theater, and then they will. Otherwise, we're just going to get another Jurassic World sequel that's going to be garbage.
No. Don't do that.
So, yeah, it's like...
Though the toys for the Jurassic movies...
Yeah,
I like dinosaurs.
To Johnny Dalton's point over on YouTube, he said franchises are exhausting at this point, and standalone movies are kind of a breath of fresh air. And yes, but we need to breathe in that air. Otherwise, they're going to keep pumping that stale crap at us, because that's what we as an audience seem to only want to pay for right now. Is just this clickbaitable, churn out franchise garbage. So, speaking of those things, we're at the 9 o'clock hour. Let's do up this box office roundup and start to sail this boat into port here. So let's start with number 10 for the top 10 movies in America for the weekend of August 23rd through 25th, 2019. Number 10 movie in America is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood from Sony, bringing in $5 million this weekend in its 5th weekend release. $50 million budget, or $90 million budget, has brought in $123 million domestically. Also want to mention that 47 Meters Down, Uncaged, despite being in almost 3,000 theaters nationwide, fell to the number 11 position this week. So not even in the top, and that's its 2nd weekend release.
Made its money, doesn't matter.
Right. Here we go. Number 9, Dora and the Lost City of Gold from Paramount, bringing in $5.3 million. In its 3rd weekend release, bringing in $43 million against its $49 million budget. And also to note, number 12 was Peanut Butter Falcon, but it's only in 986 million. It made, or 986 theaters. It made $2.9 million.
Also, it had no advertising budget, and it was completely independent film.
I mean, it average per theater did as well as the number 2 movie in America, so that's good. It just needs to be in more theaters. So here we go. Number 9, I just said that one, Dora. Number 8, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark from Lionsgate, in its 3rd weekend release, bringing in $5.8 million up against its $25 million budget, bringing in so far $50. So promise you we're going to see another one of those. Number 7, The Angry Birds Movie 2, which I completely forgot about it even being out, from Sony, brought in $6.3 million this weekend in its 2nd weekend release. $27 million budget has brought it in $65 million at the box office. Number 6, opening up at the number 6 spot, unfortunately, because it got a pretty wide release.
No, that one's backward. No, you got it backward. It's made 27 and it has a budget of 65.
Of 65, yeah, my bad.
So far away from making its money back.
Yeah, my bad. Good catch. But number 6, opening at number 6, was Ready or Not from Fox Searchlight, bringing in $8 million. It's basically a 3-way tie for 4th, because the 4th, 5th, and 6th movie in America were only about $20,000 to $30,000 shy of one another. So yeah, that's kind of rough for Ready or Not, because this actually would have been a decent opening if it hadn't had these other monsters that basically made the exact same amount of money that got higher billing. But it opened up at $8 million in its opening week, bringing in a total with its extended weekend $11 million at the box office. Number 5 above it for the 6th week in a row, Lion King, bringing in another $8 million, bringing it up to $510 million at the box office for a big old stinky fart. A big old Timon and Pumbaa pile of maggots and rot. There you go.
Pumbaa farts. That's the thing.
Oh, I love farts. I love it when animals do people farts and then laugh. That's my favorite
What's the
thing.
difference between an animal fart and a people fart, bro?
Well, because people can laugh about it, animals don't. But then when an animal farts and does a people laugh, oh, that's comedy.
Straight up, I've seen a dog fart and then turn and look at me and smile. So don't even tell me that that's not a thing animals can't do.
Just laughing at you. Anyway, number 4, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, bringing in $8 million as well. And from Universal, bringing in $147 million so far, up against its $200 million budget in its 4th week in release.
Before we hit these top 3, Friends is going to be in the movie theater?
Showing up in our comments here on our live feed says, the show Friends is coming to theaters for 3 days, showing 4 episodes each day. It's 25th anniversary.
How do they pick the episodes?
How do you tie a noose? Like,
why would you
get
go to
me
the
out of this
theater
life
to watch a TV show?
I won't be there for that. I'd rather drink bleach. Yeah. Ooh.
You don't like Friends either, bro?
No. No.
Not even Phoebe?
No.
There's no helping you sometimes, man.
Oh, what, you like Friends?
Dude, who doesn't like Friends?
Can I get this, can I get you to look directly in the camera and say, I, the Grip, love Friends?
Yo, what's up? I grew up in the 90s, and that's what you did. You watched Friends and Frasier and old TV shows that were still on. Whatever, dog. Man, everyone likes Friends.
Well, I guess. All right, so number 3, Overcomer, bringing in $8.1 million. So we had number 3 was 8.1, number 4 was 8.06, number 5 was 8.065, and then number 6 was 8.01. That's how close the 3rd through 6th movie in America were this year, which is just crazy. But it $5 million budget made $8 million. Those faith-based films, man, it's a little frightening. It's a little sign of the times.
They never don't make money.
It's a little scary, a little MAGA, a little weird. But anyway,
have you never worked on one of those?
I said no.
Oh,
I said no. I actually got an offer on God's Not Dead 1 and God's Not Dead 2. And then they didn't call me back for God's Not Dead 3 because I was like, nah, dude, nah, not my jam.
Seems like easy money, though.
It's hard money. They are not,
like the filming schedule just super sucks because they're trying to get it done so quick.
The first one was not a union picture. The second one flipped union. I'm probably not even supposed to talk about this stuff.
Oh, well, then don't.
They, it's not like I worked on the movie. So what are they going to do? Take my IATSE card? Probably not, because I'm union. And yeah, they were wrestling with wages. They weren't paying people fairly. And then the show flipped. That's what that's called, is halfway through, if union rules come in and be like, hey, you got to follow union rules, and the show gets flipped to a union picture, and everybody that's working on it gets their union card, which is actually pretty sweet for anybody that's like not done the hourly requirements for joining your local whatever guild you're a part of. But that happened, and then everybody got paid a little bit more. And on the third one, it was just like pulling teeth. So anyway, hey, movie business, so much fun, so glamorous. Arguing with people about wages constantly. It's crazy. But anyway, Good Boys bringing in number 2 with $11.6 million from your pocket to Universal's. With the second weekend release, $20 million budget has brought it in $41.9 million. So pretty much a success there for those Good Boys. And the number 1 movie in America is Angel Has Fallen from Lionsgate, bringing in $21.3 million in its opening weekend with a budget of only $40. There you go.
Not bad. Man, it's really not a bad movie for a budget that low. The only time you can really see that is in one of the scenes they show in the trailer with, like, there's a bunch of smoke and debris and stuff. It looks really bad. But other than that one scene, the rest of it was pretty good for a movie that only had $40 million.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad special effects for a low budget.
Mm-hmm. Angel Has Fallen. There you go. It's there. You could see it. ready or not, you can see it. Peanut Butter Falcon, you might not be able to see it if it doesn't get any wider of a release. So it is here in Northwest Arkansas, probably only going to be here next weekend, and I doubt it's going to be here a third. So if you want to see Peanut Butter Falcon, you need to check that out.
It is soon. At multiple theaters right now, too, so you have different choices.
Yep. Let's see. This is the only place that I have heard anything about this movie on our YouTube comments. The Angel Has Fallen. Hey, it's the #1 movie in America, so you're probably.
No, I think they're talking about Overcomer, bro.
Overcomer. Yeah, it's just #3, man. #3, $8 million. Made more money than Fast and Furious. How about that? There you go. You got anything to say about that, Grip?
Unreal.
It overcame it. Anyway, all right. Well, that's it. That we got to go. We're just over our hour mark. But thank you for tuning in. Again, like, subscribe, and share this thing. We are out there on all your favorite podcast listening devices: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of those fun things. You can watch the live stream if you want to see us and participate in the chat. You can watch old live streams, but if you do it live when we're broadcasting, like right now, you can do it at Facebook.com/The Drive-In Speakerbox or YouTube.com/The Drive-In Speakerbox. And as always, I'm the boom operator.
I'm the Grip.
And we will see you guys next week.